The first team to 19 points wins. It's as simple as that at the Weber Cup. Ryder Cup format, 1 point for a win. And so far, Europe are in the lead, and a pretty comprehensive lead as well, 12 points to 7. But Kyle Chuk with a brilliant victory in that last game over Martin Larsson. Okay, time for our penultimate game of the evening. Back to your commentators, Cass Edwards and Wayne Boyce.
Well, Kyle Chuk in that last singles, stopping a run of 3 successive European victories, bringing us back to 12-7. It was a first singles win for one of the American rookies, and Cass, can Marshall Kent make it his first singles win as well? But he's going to be up against it against Stuart Williams, who's already beaten him twice here.
Yeah, absolutely. The last one was a 260-220 defeat for him. He certainly needs to get things going, and unfortunately, as we've been seeing in the tournament so far with the scoring method, a 220 or a 230 is certainly nowhere near a guaranteed win.
No, he shot 244 actually in the first session defeat to Stu Williams. He hit 8 strikes, 278, 244. He's averaging 73.33. Now scored 259. His strike rate is impressive.
His average is impressive, but that is the World Bowling Scoring System. It kind of pushes the scores up. Each strike is worth 30 no matter where it is in the game, so consequently we're seeing higher scores, which is great to see.
Kyle Chuk out there trying to give Marshall Kent a bit of inspiration. Defeat, remember, as I was saying, to Stuart Williams twice, the second of them in this session, 266, 221, averaging 230 as you were saying, Cass, just over 50% with the strike rate, 5 opens. He's been inconsistent.
Yes, he has, and that's a kind way of putting it, I guess, but here we go, first shot. Marshall Kent to open up on a freshly dressed lane, and holds pocket on a very tight line. Straight down that oil in the middle. Carries pocket and carries all 10 pins, great looking shot. Nice reaction there, a little bit late on the 7 pin, but it's gone. So it's the best way to start, 30 pins.
And as if his confidence is suffering a bit, as you say, couldn't have wished for anything better. Can Stu Williams match it?
Yeah, Stuart's a bit of a seasoned veteran of the Weber Cup.
Great shot.
He too has flushed the pocket with a great looking strike, so all square after one.
Playing his 6th Weber Cup. On the 5 previous occasions he's won 4 of them, lost just the once. It's interesting, Cass, when you look at the two teams, the USA doesn't contain a single player who's won the Weber Cup before.
I kind of didn't want to go there, but I mean, if you're going to bring histrionics into it, you're quite right. Change of personnel this year, and this could be the 4th year in a row that Europe have won. If things keep going the way they are, it's 12-7 at the moment. Marshall will be trying to do something about that scorecard.
In terms of Weber Cup appearances, it probably is the most inexperienced team that either team has ever put out. Just 3 Weber Cup appearances between them. Oh boy. They are mighty talented. And it's 2 in a row, and a huge sigh of relief for Marshall Kent. But we've seen this before from him, Cass, and then it suddenly goes wrong.
This was a pretty bad shock because it was all wrong off his hand and off his fingers. It hit the outside boards and came back, but look, it hit thin and span everything around. And he's very pleased. 2 strikes in a row. Hit him thin, make him spin. How about that?
PBA Viper Open winner in Las Vegas 2011-12. Stuart Williams needing to match Kent with a double of his own, and he does. Well, this is high quality bowling at the Weber Cup at Event City in Manchester. Perfect through 2 frames, both players.
Well, we certainly have seen high scoring tournament games here in the tournament. Certainly is high quality. And these two are just showing the way it's done. 2 strikes apiece, both looking sort of pretty much locked up. Kent had a rather fortunate one last time, but he will now want to bury a really good one in the pocket just to make it 3 in a row. Takes a quick re-rack of the pins, wipes the oil off of his bowling ball, off the track.
Last year, remember, session 3 was a disaster for the USA. They were beaten 5-1, which saw Europe take a 14-4 lead into the final day. It's 3-2 as it stands in this session at the moment. But Kent looking to build on that point by Kyle Troup last time out, and he doesn't take them all this time, and the run of strikes comes to an end.
Just a little bit low on speed there, a lot of rotation, but the speed was just down, which allowed it just to flip over one time too many. And there it is, high on the head pin. It was a 4-pin standing, nothing even touched it. So it can only be a spare, which will be 19 pins. Harden straight at it, takes away the spare. Takes the score to 79 in the third.
Chance for Williams here. Just edge in front. Maybe he can take all 10. He was an England Crown Green Bowls Junior champion, aged 14.
I didn't know that. Man from Ellesmere Port, near to Liverpool, so he's local-ish, even though at the moment he's now permanently in Phoenix, Arizona, with his American wife Tina.
It's a great shot again. It's 3 in a row.
Stuart Williams locked and loaded, hits that down the lane marker, second arrow, and the ball just turns up and carries all 10. Oh, a little, very little body reaction or body English. Work to do now for Kent, working on a spare.
11 pins the difference. Strike, strike, spare. His first 3 frames. And adds another strike into the list. Well, this is certainly high quality stuff, isn't it, in the penultimate game of the day.
Yeah, 3 strikes out of 4. You can see that of course, how Marshall snaps his wrist there and gets the rotation on the bowling ball as it comes off his hand. But this is the man that's hot at the very moment. Stuart Williams, the European team player, working on 3 strikes.
Oh dear, he said to himself.
Yeah, not the best of shots. He was left off his hand into the middle of the lane, into the heavy oil, and it just didn't go anywhere. It was a 3-6-10 standing. He's inside his mark there. Overreaction the back end. Just misses that 3-pin totally.
Takes the spare.
Goes through the 100 barrier.
Stuart Williams has cashed in 6 out of 10 PBA events in 2016, which is earned him just under $17,000.
Most of these guys will be off to the World Tour in the Middle East come 2 months' time. There's a big money tournament in Saudi, one in Kuwait and one in the UAE, so they'll all be playing $50,000 first prize, which might be worth picking up. If you could win 2 of them, it would be very nice.
And of course, that's what Svensson picked up for the PBA Tournament of Champions in February, $50,000. Nice start to the year's earnings. And another good shot from Kent.
Yes, 2 strikes in a row, takes his score through 139 in the 5th frame at the halfway stage. It's a great reaction, a nice little tap there on the 10-pin. And he's very pleased. 2 strikes in a row, 4 out of 5. for the American.
Now he would love to get a point on the board, Marshall Kent. Just so tough to keep going if you keep losing and losing.
Fraction high for Stewart. Leaves the single 4-pin standing. 3 strikes in a row and now 2 spares by the look of it.
Takes away the spare, Williams. 26-139, so it's a 13-pin advantage at the halfway point for Marshall Kent. Well, this would be a massive couple of points, Cass, if he could follow in Carl Troup's footsteps and beat a far more experienced opponent.
Well, I mean, it's head-to-head, one game, isn't it? But Marshall certainly needs the win. As I say, he's 4 strikes out of 5 at the halfway stage. Is there any reason why it's going to change? Just keep going. Do his confidence the world of good. And it may make the difference between being the captain's pick for the next game or not.
It's a great shot. And the way he's going here, I think he isn't going to be the captain's pick. He was the early prediction for it.
It's amazing what one good game can do. And this looks like being the one for Marshall Kent. 5 strikes out of 6, and oh baby, how about that? So he's quite happy.
And now a bit of pressure on Williams. He would have walked up here expecting to win again, having beaten Kent twice already, but he rings the 10-pin and it's not going to plan.
No, 3 frames in a row without a strike for Williams. Very frustrating for him. He's bowling very well and he's hit the pocket, but it's just not carrying. It's just a fraction light. You can see that pin, that 6-pin, come off the kickback there and just drop in the gutter. Turns his back on the spare. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, rather angry stare at the 10-pin as he took it out with the spare ball.
24 pins the difference so far.
Can Kent keep it going though? We've seen him in control before and then he's produced an open frame. So working on 4 in a row here, Kent.
Yeah, it's certainly a big ball.
Heavy through the head pin, that one.
Didn't release it properly. You actually heard his fingers pop as they came out the ball. It was left off of his hand straight away. Inside his mark, high on the head pin. Doesn't even hit the 3-pin, so he's got the 3 and the 6 standing. It's a straightforward spare, but he was on a roll for strikes. And this can add, with a spare, can only be an extra 18 pins.
Him to 177 and wants the extra 10. Stays clean. 187 for Marshall Kent. It's a 42-pin advantage. A strike here though for Williams. We'll reduce it to 12.
Yes, if Williams is going to win this game, you kind of think he needs strike in the 7th frame. Just to get him within 12 pins. It's a big ball. Really needs at least 2 strikes in a row. But this has got to be the first one.
We haven't had a strike for 3 frames from Williams. Make that 4.
Well, the 10-pin got rattled by a couple of spare pins that were flying around the pin deck. Just watch this one, but it didn't go. Yeah, it's just a little bit too wide, I'm afraid, and that's why that 10-pin's there. See, that pin just lays and dies in the gutter, doesn't it? looking straight at this one with a harder ball. Takes it away, but a spare is not what he needs. 3 9 spares in a row now. Unfortunately, may not be good enough.
23 pins to make up. It's looking good for Marshall Kent.
Says the commentator, who's known for the curse.
Is it me or you?
If he leaves a big split now, you won't have anything to say, will you?
I'm not having a good day, am I, for cursing them?
Okay, Marshall's just cleaned all that oil off of his ball, which it picks up on the way down in the middle part of the lane. It is freshly dressed, so there is heavy oil if you're in the wrong place on the lane.
Oh, the messenger rolling across, but didn't quite make it.
Nothing for 9.5, I'm afraid. There's a messenger coming across, which we thought may take the 10 pin out. Light in the pocket. Here comes the messenger. Will it go? No, it won't. Not enough velocity. And the pin setter's coming down, and it's got it. So no chance of a strike.
It's the 10 pin spare though.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Goodness me.
How close was that? Was that half in the channel when it hit that 10 pin? And that's not a low 5, that's a low 1. Crikey, that was unbelievable. Just watch this one, heading for the channel. It's in the channel, is it? He's just got it.
Well, dare I say it, we have seen 1 or 2 rookie errors from Marshall Kent, and that was almost another one. A change of fortune, perhaps.
Crikey, a man so pleased. He goes through the 200 mark to start with in frame 8. Williams really needs a strike now just to get back in there. Come on.
And he gets it.
Great looking shot in the 8th frame. 30 pins for the Williams. Beef stew at his best.
It's back in the balance again here, isn't it? 206, 194 with 2 frames to go.
Encouraging the crowd to cheer louder. It was a great looking strike in the 8th frame. He's got to double it up in the 9th as well, and hopefully one in the 10th for him.
It's a 2-frame shootout effectively. We've had so many games go to the wire in session 2 and session 3. And this is mainly down to the new scoring. We keep on about it, but it's having an effect.
It really is, yes. It's making the finishes so exciting. It's not traditional. It's a new thing, only been used in a few tournaments.
Come on, Marshall!
There's the 9, he needed the 10. He's only going to make 19 pins if he spares this one. It's going to give Stuart Williams a chance to come back.
Well, he was in control of this with 5 strikes from the opening 6 frames.
Yeah, but he's just gone 3 frames in a row without a strike, and Stu Williams looks as though he could well be on his way back. There you see the oil on Marshall's ball around the track. It's really, really heavy. This needs to be a spare, which he takes away nicely. He takes the score to 225.
Yeah, not quite the heart-in-mouth moment that he gave himself in the previous frame.
Strike for Williams here will be 224, and it will be a 1-pin game going into the 10th.
Well, he's taken his time. It's a big ball, this.
Well, this could be the ball that might lose him the game if he doesn't strike. Tension on everybody's face. But a man that knows pressure and has come through it before in 10th frame finishes. This has got to be so good.
Oh boy, come on.
No, he wasn't happy, was he?
He's got a 9. He had 7 pins standing, but some flying pins came around, and it actually took them all out. Just watch this one. Leaves the 3, the 6 and the 10, and watch this. Oh, and that was so close to taking the 10-pin, wasn't it?
Well, that would have been the luckiest strike of the weekend, wouldn't it?
How lucky that would have been. Yes, that would have been a lottery win, wouldn't it? Oh dear, it's so close.
203, 225. Needs the 10 and gets them. 213. But Marshall Kent knows.
Well, he's just got to keep the ball on the lane, keep it in play. Do not have an open frame.
A chance here for 2 in a row to make it 12-8. And they're getting stuck on 12 as they did on 9 in the previous session. I think psychologically, Cash, they'd love to get to 13.
Marshall needs anything except a 6 or a 7 count on the first ball.
Come on, Marshall!
And that will do nicely.
Well, that is massive. It's another point, and it's 2 in a row for the USA. The 2 rookies up and running in quick succession. Carl Troop beating Martin Larsson, and now Marshall Kent has his first victory in the singles. And the lead is back down to 4.
Yeah, it's all a bit late, Stuart, I'm sorry, but the game is won. And it was down to 4 strikes for Williams.
Well, he won the first 2 against Marshall Kent this weekend, but it shows at this level just how difficult it is, isn't it, to win 3 times in a row against opponents of this calibre.
Well, Kent stood up and hit 6 strikes and threw your legs. Can he make it? No, he can't. 222 is the final score for Williams, and a defeat for the European man.
So it's 12 points to 8. 2 in a row for the United States. They are back in the hunt again. They're not going away. It's the captain's pick next.